there's issues, possibly we try to make it do we can. All right, so based on what we have done over the last 13 weeks, I think now we should go into and dwell into a more specific issues that we have about how we can be feeling good about ourselves. So I would like to talk about happiness because I have got clients who actually, when I heard from them, they keep saying that actually the whole week was spoiled for them emotionally. It was a drain, kind of a physical and emotional drain for them over the weeks. So I think it's good if I can talk about it. So let me share my slide to start with. Share the screen, and the slide is here. Okay, if you can see the slide, I hope it will be okay for you. All right, so before I start to say about happiness, I would like to just give you some data, some statistics with regard to what is going on with mental health, especially in Malaysia. But this slide talks about Ontario student kind of survey. So as you know, they are mentioning about 51% of female students show symptoms of anxiety and depression. And overall, all students, 39%, about 40% of them, all shows symptom of anxiety and depression. What does it mean? It means that this is a very serious problem that we are facing right now. And here are the Malaysian figures. All right, based on DAS score, 21 scoring, the adolescent mental health in Malaysia, they say that 1 in 5 are depressed or is depressed. 2 in 5 have anxiety or anxious, and 1 in 10 having stress, and that is appear to be male and female about equal in numbers or ratios, 17 as versus to 18 or 19% for male and female in depression. In anxiety, female is more, and in stress, about equally about affecting both male and female. And here we can see in 2018, 5.5 million adolescents in Malaysia. Uh, 1 in 5 suffer from depression, as earlier showed. 2 in 5 having anxiety. 1 in 10 having stress. 1 in 6 victim of bullying. This is what we call psychological trauma while they were in the younger age or possibly until the adolescent secondary level. Some of them were actually being shamed, right? So the numbers are there, 1 in 6 actually. So if we were to look at, again, the percentage, about 7% for girls and boys having suicide attempts. 2 in 3 perceive that their parent did not understand their problems, and less than half had peer support. So these are the things that I think we need to seriously look, because our younger generation are more and more actually experiencing a lot of distress, and they are going to take over the middle age generation and subsequently become old age, and they will just continue having the problem for their lifetime if it is not get sorted out early. Again, here you can see the suicidal ideation, girls and boys in Malaysia. So these are the suicidal behavior from 2012 to 2017. We can see that the errors, either ideation or plan or attempt, there is an increase. All right, and among boys and girls, as you can see, it appears to be about equal in number, percentage-wise, that they both the gender having actually the same problem. And why Malaysian don't seek help? About more than 50% were saying that they are concerned about the cost. They are worried about they cannot actually keep up to the expenses if they want to get help, or they are not sure where to get help. So that is quite a very serious problem, because I thought we have quite a good resources around us. Unfortunately, they still are not aware of what or where they can get help. And about 30-40% talks about stigma, talk about embarrassment. They are trying to hide themselves away from people knowing what problem they have. and the others show giving a reason like is concerned about time, and other reasons, and about 77% says they don't know about it. So I guess these are all very serious issues that we need to look into. So that's why we have this kind of a program. At least we make people well informed, even though the one who suffers it might not really able to come forward, but the people around those person who suffers this problem should be the one who actually become, as I said, a facilitator, and subsequently also maybe can become a first aider. And here again, we see beside that mental problem, we have physical problem too. Here we said about the physical activity. 66% of employees did less than 150 minutes of physical activity per week, right? 53% of employees sleep less than 7 hours a night. There's a productivity loss per employee per year, about 73 days. Again, 90% of employees has not taken a well-balanced diet. 51% actually has at least one dimension of work-related stress. So you can see the numbers are actually alarming. These are all things that we know, but here the data gives us a specific figure indicating how serious the problem is. So, and yeah, oh yeah, there's another one here with regard to overweight and obesity. You can see that Malaysia has a prevalence of 4.2% for adults of both sexes having a BMI of more than 25 kilogram per meter squared. And obviously about the physical activity, you can see that not much of in terms of the age wise, in terms of the activity wise, you can see that unfortunately we are always having trouble among our people uh, from the various age group actually, right? So very sedentary lifestyle and whatnot. So what is happiness? I think this is very important for us to take note. Again, we are talking about happiness actually every day, 24 hours. If we are going to be happy that 24 hours, obviously the next 24 hours will also be in the limbo of whether we can actually experience a very good happiness in us all. And so if you can grade yourself for the day, let's say over the last 24 hours, whatever that you have gone through since 9 p.m. last night until tonight, 9 p.m. So where actually you on the long continuum of this extreme of negative and positive, where are you? I guess you can just try to see yourself. If you're on the green side, that will be good. But if you are on the left side, I think we need to look into it more seriously later. Again, as I said, happiness is a mode. So it's about how you feel. It's about how you express your feeling through the mode. So it's about how you feel in the day. And positivity is about the mindset. And there are 7 types of happiness. These are the areas where you can be happy, you feel good about yourself, you have good self-esteem, you have sense of pride, you feel optimism within yourself, you are very optimistic person, you move around, do things according to your energy, and you are very excited, you're very joyful, and you're very contented, you have love within you, and you actually able to express whatever that you have to using gratitude. So these are very important aspects of for you to look into. If any of these is not there with you, so obviously the level of happiness will be actually on the lower side. So just a lot of people actually they have problem with discontent. They're not happy with what's going on because it doesn't go according to how they want, what they want, and they believe that people are not actually uh, helping out or supporting them to feel contented. But again, as I said, it is not about actually the stresses outside you. It is about within you, how you can actually manipulate yourself, or how you can actually make it that you have. If you want to be happy, you can be happy. So I usually have this tagline for me every day. It is me who makes or break myself. So it all depends on how my mind is. And the Almighty will just follow what you believe. If you think that you are always at the negative side of your life, yeah, it will become true for you. But if you feel that you're always on the positive side of your life, that will be also being granted for you. So here I would like to talk about a bit on this personality type, because I think it's very important for most of us to see it again, even though we have already dwelled it in the previous kind of a discussion. Well, we see the type A person who are always competitive, very self-driven, want to achieve goals most of the time. So they may have experienced some issues. The type B, who are the easygoing, charismatic person, they also will have the pros and cons about it. The type C are the one who are actually the stress prone, and the type D is what you know. This one will just follow what people ask them to do. They just like to do their routine and things like that. So all these type has their own problem. But I can see if you were to look at this slide, you know, the type A personality, look at the psychological complication that they may end up with. Actually, they can end up with anxiety, they can end up with depression, they can end up with sleep disorders, they can be highly stressed, highly tense, and they have eating disorders. And their physical, again, I'm very sorry, I think this slide has a wrong spelling with regard to the physical and the psychological, letters there. So just uh, just be aware that, just take note that the spelling is wrong. Anyway, as you know, the physical condition type A personality may have cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, the so-called triglyceride and the lipoprotein density, HDL is low maybe, uh, the musculoskeletal trouble, the skin trouble, dermatology, gastric trouble, you know, high TG and so the type B actually is less in terms of anxiety, less in terms of depression, lower stress and lower tension because they are quite easygoing. The type C again may end up with anxiety, depression, and chronic stress. And the type D actually has much more problem. So type A and type D could be a serious type personality that you must take note, because the type D is, as we mentioned about the suicidal, you can see the type D or the distress kind of personality. D refers to the word distress, can easily end up with actually suicidal in nature. So another important areas that we need to know, I think we can go specifically to this group of people. They call it the highly sensitive person. As you know, they are actually the good about the highly sensitive person. They are very imaginative. They are very creative. They are very intuitive. They are also a very good, great listener. So actually, they do help people around them, especially those in need, to have a good listening ears and whatnot. They are there actually. They can help these people around them who's having trouble. But unfortunately, they become a little bit too much, and they can get easily hurt. They can actually look into anything, any aware of any subtleties. So they are very much engrossed into all this. And they also become over emotional. They feel for others. Despite having a huge heart, obviously, it can hurt them. They have also what we call fantastic magical thinking, and they easily overwhelmed. So they are more of the, how should I say, the feeling person. So this is where the trouble can come in for a highly sensitive person, whereby anything, everything that actually come through their senses can be taken so seriously, can be so exaggerated, they may end up having more trouble. I highlight this condition, or highlight this kind of a problem in people, is because quite a number of them that has these repeated issues about distress are actually, they are very high sensitive person. So people are talking about, are they irrational at times? Are they emotional? But actually the good part of it is they are also very observant. Unfortunately, again, as I said, They are being empathetic, they are highly observant, but unfortunately they go beyond the exaggerated, they go beyond the limit that they should actually have. Right? They care for people so much, they care for everything. So when they have become so caught up with all this over exaggerated emotion, and that's when they have the trouble. Right? They also have actually what called emotional reaction, strong emotional reaction to anything that comes in front of them. And you know about this highly sensitive person, they are not easy to move forward. They need more time. They need alone time. They need time to decide, to reconsider. So anything that we will push them to do fast, to make a quick kind of a judgment and consideration, they will have trouble. They need time to think about thinking itself. They are quite obsessed. They need time for to obsess. They need time for restlessness and boredom. They need time to come up with ideas. And they need time to create. They need time to serve. They need time to do nothing. And they need more time to do nothing. So these are the people actually who, at the end of the day, despite they have good positive element of being a sensitive person, but they go into the negative, so-called the negative outcome of their emotion into their behaviors and whatnot. So here we can say that they like to contemplate, sit quietly, but unfortunately they over engross and over indulge in their thoughts and things like that. It's good once in a while to be a loner, to be in a quiet place, to contemplate. But unfortunately, if you go beyond that, the thoughts become more and more deeper. It become more and more vicious in cycle. You may actually, at the end of the day, get caught up with all these thoughts, and very difficult to unwind and very to undo the thoughts, and it hurts your feelings and yourself. So the question is that, are you happy? So the answer could be yes or no. So if you are yes, then keep doing what you are doing, because whatever that you have been doing, that's why you're happy. So continue whatever that you're doing. But if the answer is no, then you have to ask this question, whether do you want to be happy? If you say you want to be happy, yes, you want to be happy, then you have to change something. You have to do something new. You have to change it by doing something. But then if you say you don't want to be happy, you're not happy, but you don't want to be happy, then just keep doing whatever that you're doing again. That makes you not happy. So that is again, as I said, this is you makes or break yourself. It is your choice actually. It is your mindset. So most important is make every day a happy day. Make today a happy day. Why should you actually trying to destroy your day by being unhappy, and subsequently we're hoping that at the end of a particular time period you should be happy when every day is actually already how should I say destroyed because of your unhappiness. So here we say about positive psychological well-being. At least you must have gone through these areas. First and foremost, your sensory stimulation. Any senses that, anything stimulus that pass through your senses, what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you feel and things like that. These are the sensory organs that actually can bring up to whether you end up with a positive psychological well-being or otherwise. Similarly, with regard to your control and your choice, as I said, it's very important you decide what you really want to be, whether it's positive or negative. And then on top of that, with your activity, your movement, your enjoyment of doing things, pleasurable activity, and with the people around you giving you support and carers giving you support, and how you then relate with people and having relationship with people, all these actually are very important aspects for you to be happy. So again and again, if you missed out any one of these, obviously your full happiness will not be achieved. So you can see that children are always happy despite any situation they have, because they don't really overthink so much. But unfortunately, there is one condition that we call ACE, or adversity, that is happening in childhood and they're being exposed. ACE refers to adversity, childhood exposure or experience. So unfortunately, if this has been going on and on and on, you won't be able to see a child of this nature who smile and laugh and make people around them happy as such. Because of that is, or what we call the last 2 weeks previous to this session, we talk about the psychological trauma. So happenings and happiness is all depend actually. Happenings, obviously, there won't be a perfect day. There will be a lot of happenings, the good and the bad. But again, as I said, is the way how you see those happening, and then it will determine whether your response will be happiness or not. So if you see negatively what happens, obviously it will to disturb your happiness. If everything is in a positive mindset, obviously there will be happiness in you. And why not? Why not? If you want to know what is going on, you have this so-called, a bottle, or a place where you can put in, write in whatever the occasion that create happiness in you. You can have actually two bottle, or you can have actually two container. One container is what make you happy for that particular moment for that day, and what make you unhappy for that particular moment or for that day. And you can put it inside this bottle. And later you can open up this bottle and just really look at it again. What makes you happy for that day, and what makes you unhappy for that day. And unfortunately, if you see that more of this unhappiness bottle will get filled up, then you know that actually your life is miserable. But if you see there's very few things that cause you to be unhappy, but there's a lot more in this so-called container of happiness, and then you keep seeing what you have, this will remind you what make you happy for that day. And then you keep maintaining the next bar. Once you finish for that 24 hours, you can take it out and pile it somewhere. Then for the next day, you can fill up again. And then the situation can be a lot of different situation, but you can determine whether you want to respond happily or otherwise. So it is a very good actually tools to gauge your level of happiness every day. For me, this is really happiness. I can see the food, and I can eat what I want, and I can enjoy all this food. I guess maybe Felicia and Francis will be. You have to give advice to me about looking at this food kind of a thing. But I think food and satiety about pleasure is always our main thing that will bring happiness, whereby it stimulates our it brings out our dopamine, it brings out our endorphin, the relationship, it brings out possibly our serotonin and oxytocin and whatnot. Well, it's up to you if you decide to be happy, because that will make you good for your health. Better choose that. Or smiling is the best way, actually. Whenever things happen to you, at least you smile. So because when you smile, it will actually transmit to your whole sense of body and feeling and sensation, and goes into your central nervous systems, and actually, and also then it will actually move to people around you, and it also make people to be happy. Well, some people says I'm fine, but I'm just not happy. Unfortunately, some people are still stuck in the situation whereby life has to go on. It is just a routine. I'm not happy for so many days, so many weeks, so many months, so many years. But then I just move on. And that is what we call a person who actually just flow with the flow, go with the flow in that sense. Even though they are not happy, they don't make any changes, they don't make any effort to improve, but they just go with the flow. And chronic unhappiness subsequently will eat up you physically, psychologically, and spiritually. So just take note about that. So why are you not happy? As I said again, the situation can be one is with regard to your personality, the type. One with regard to your traits that you have within you. One is with regard to the happenings around you, your everyday things that goes around you, the stimulus that could actually stress or distress you and whatnot. Because obviously life is full of challenges, and life is, as I said, full of obstacles. We call it like thorn in the flesh. Things won't be nice all the time, obviously. So it's a matter of how you manage those things. So it is not what you have, or it's not what you don't have, where you are, what are you doing, that can make you happy or unhappy. It is about how you think. I think this is very important. The thoughts is the one that matters, right? Your thoughts, your belief, your attitudes, that determines your wealth potential. How wealthy can you be? Because it's again, as I said, Health is wealth. You know. If you have a lot of money, but your thoughts, your beliefs, your attitudes all bring yourself down negatively, it doesn't mean anything much. Right? So you can choose to be positive and be grateful. Right? As I said, this to be a grateful person, this is the answer to that. You have to be mindful. Right? And breathe balance in your life, body and soul. With mindfulness, possibly you can reduce your stress. You can be aware of things that happens around you. You breathe accordingly, do things in a more positive manner. You contemplate and do meditation. You clear your mind, you clear your thoughts, you clear your. So positive thought obviously generate positive feelings, attract positive life experiences. So it's always like that. It's always in a form of link with each other. Obviously, the reverse will be the negative thought will give you a negative feeling and will give you negative life experiences. So to have this harmonious world, obviously you have to fill up all these aspects of your life: the relation aspect, the spiritual aspect, the physical aspect, the intellectual aspect, the financial aspect, the environmental aspect, and the mind aspect, the psychology aspect. So you need to fire up at least your mind, your body, and your spirit. So with your mind, it's good thoughts. With your body, it's good action, and with your spirit, again, the existence, understanding of where you are, who you are, what you are supposed to do, why you are here, and that will create a positive feelings. So change your mindset, it will change your life. Yeah? Because your thought determine your energy, and your energy determine your attitude determine your action, and your action determine your path, and your path will lead to your destiny. It's very important saying. Keep remembering that. And how to find happiness? Realize that joy comes with achievement. So that's why every day you must achieve something. Every day you must have a goal. Plan, strategize, organize, and at the end of the day, achieve what you really want to achieve for that day. You cannot just let things happen according to, as you said, doing the routine and getting the same result over and over again. Excuse me. Surround yourself with happy people. Then contemplate, recollect your positive memories. As I said, you can use that so-called the happy container. I can always look at it again and again. Look at it every day. What are the new things that make you happy? What are the recurring things that always make you happy? And most important also, value yourself and value people around you and value your relationships. There is a 30-day challenge if you happiness challenge. You can look at this aspect, example about your mind and body, about your sleep, about appreciation, at least there are good things that you must appreciate every day, about relating, who you communicate with, your loved one, your friend, about giving, do some act of kindness, do some kind of a charity work, trying out, do something new that you have not done before, go for certain direction, change your possible realistic goals, set for that, resilient, confide in someone, asking for some advice, acceptance, at least the 10 things that you do well and you can accept that very well, appreciate, emotion, relating. So every bits of this you can actually try to work out in your everyday life. So make it like a 30 days challenge. Use the same heading 1, 2, 3 until 30. Excuse me. And then you can decide what you want to do. This will give you some example of what you can do. Excuse me. So you can, as I said, this is I usually live with this tagline. Where actually I make or break myself, nobody else. It is me who allows people, if I allow them to break me, then it is my fault, not them, because I allow them to do that to me. But if I decided that nothing can touch me because I know who I am, how good I am, how strong I am, how weak I am, if I know that very well, I can decide whether I want to make or break myself. I think this is the last slide, which I want people to always remember that no one else determines that. Unless, God already Almighty says that, yes, I want to test you with all these challenges. Again, it's up to you whether how you perceive those challenges. but life is full of challenges. So that is about it. So I will stop my sharing and then we can do the discussion. I hope I don't take so much of the time. So thank you so much. I pass it back to Felicia.
Well, thank you so much, Prof. Awesome. I actually enjoy the part where you say you target, like, you cover like the body, mind, and spirit, what makes us happy, and the mindfulness. I think happy is not something that it just comes. I think you have to be very mindful about it. And sometimes we place our so-called feeling happy or happiness on material things that doesn't really bring us the true, happiness. Like when you mentioned about food, yes, food does makes us happy because you can do hack on certain happy hormones or chemicals, right, in our body. It triggers us. So the same thing that triggers the so-called feel good hormones can also come from doing the 30 days happiness challenge that you posted. It's quite interesting because I'm actually doing it, for a while now. Um, and uh, and it's good because you can find different templates. Like sometimes just get some sun, for like 10 minutes of sun, let's get some exercise or talk to a friend, or do some charitable works, or do something nice for yourself. Yeah, I think self-care is not selfish. I think those are the things that we want to really ensure. When you say being happy, I think it's a state of mind where you constant it's not a constant thing when you feel happy, like in your own la la land, right? It's a choice. Like, I like your last statement, you make or break it because you decide. You decide whether you want to stay happy, or you decide you want to stay sad, right? So for the highly sensitive, this interests me a lot. For the highly sensitive individuals that you mentioned, the traits, are they like considered to be empaths? Is it similar?
Yeah, basically, again, as I said, the quality is there, the good quality about, being more for the right brain, the creativity, the imagination, the intuition, the inner feeling. But unfortunately, it was over exaggerated, over involved, over emotional. So that is where the problem is. I mean, people
Mm.
can use it many terms.
Is
Uh,
it is it some occupation or some people that with certain jobs, or certain people that would actually be more into this personality, or have show more of this personality traits? Maybe like a musician because they're more in tune with their emotions, or somebody who is a teacher, or yeah,
mm,
maybe you
Yeah,
can.
I guess obviously to start with, the career path that we actually
Mm,
go for is
mm,
based on our own internal drive, actually. That's why I call the law of attraction.
mm,
When you want to look for it, you'll be surprised, even for me as a psychiatrist, I can be a highly sensitive person too,
mm,
because I have the component of also emotion, I have the
yeah.
component of also the intuition side of a thing. And when
Mm,
things doesn't go according to the way I see it, I may get affected by it.
yeah, yeah,
And,
definitely.
the unfortunate thing is that if you don't realize it, that is a problem. You see,
Mm,
let's say I can get so angry if my client doesn't follow my advice,
yeah.
if my student doesn't take me seriously,
Mm,
if my loved one think me very lightly. I can
mm,
be serious. I mean, despite being a psychiatrist, I've got the knowledge, I've got the characteristic to be a psychiatrist with so-called people, stranger. But then, so someone that I make it closer to me, example, my student, I take them as my student, my family.
it's
But
more
then if I
personal.
make it, yeah, it's more personal. But if they did not respond to the way I expect them to respond, I
Yeah.
become distressed. So that's why I said none of us are actually perfect.
Perfect. Yep.
The only thing is, do we realize that or not? Until
Mm,
unless that's why, example like why I end up become a psychiatrist, you'll be surprised. Maybe along my life, there are a lot of situations that
mm,
actually make me wanted to know more about psychology.
Yeah.
Make me wanted to know about what is going on with myself. That's why I go for
Mm,
this learning, because that is not
mm,
the law of attraction.
mhm.
Some people want to be in authority because they feel that if they are not in total authority, they are going to actually lose out.
Yeah.
People don't respect them. So they go into
Mm,
enforcement, they go into being someone is upper hand as compared to the one just a follower.
yeah.
So that is how actually your makeup is. That's why it's
Mm,
very important. I would again and again try to make people understand what we call psychological trauma or what we call adversity at childhood kind of experience. Because a
mm,
lot of people are stuck at that adversity in childhood or the psychological
mhm.
trauma in childhood that they carried forward until they become middle-aged school, until they become adolescent, until they become young adult, until they become middle-aged adult, until they become old age, and they never get out of it. And you'll be surprised, a lot of people actually are not happy for the last 60, 70 years of life.
Mm.
Even though they have got everything, and you'll be
Yeah.
surprised which person are not happy to. Poor person also, as you people say that they are not happy, but I guess it's depend on how they make up their own mind.
True, true. That's why I like this quote, by Jim Rohn. I think he said, um, be happy or be grateful with what you have, but in pursuit for better things in life. So that keeps us striving, of course, for more. But it's very important to appreciate or be grateful of what you have. I think that's very important to be mindful. I think that like even you say, when it's personal to you, then you take it, in a more emotional way.
Mm.
Yeah, I think even as us like coaches, we sometimes you are good at certain things, but you're not good at everything. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very important to take a step back and to see if somebody makes a constructive feedback, or even if it's purely criticism, we should take it as a message. We should, tell ourselves that before you react, or try to embrace that message that person is trying to tell you before instead of react, you respond to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why all these things that we have been saying, yeah. First about the psychosocial stages of Erickson.
Mm,
If you have graduated every level very well, by the
mm,
time you reach adulthood, actually
mm.
your life is so satisfied. You're
Yep.
able to get a career, you're able to have a relationship, you're able to get married, you're able to have children. And then by the time you reach 30, 40, you're able now to give back to the community.
Mm,
So you see, that stages must be completed. Unfortunately, for psychosocial stages, Erickson, the first five stages, or no, the first three stages or four stages until adolescent, usually people doesn't graduate it very well. Usually
mm.
there's always issues that as I bake a cake and the cake doesn't well form, the cake is not look nice, doesn't possibly not taste nice,
Too dry, too
or
moist.
dry or too moist, and they got a lot of holes and things like that.
Mm,
So
mm,
that's why every level, parents should know this. Every level should be able to actually get the kids to develop very well. And that's why, as I said, parenting is very important. And then
mm.
subsequently, we talk about mindfulness, and then subsequently, we talk about multiple intelligence. Every intelligence in the student, in the kids, need to be developed.
Yep.
The social intelligence, the emotional intelligence kind of a thing,
I,
intellectual intelligence, the physical intelligence need to be developed. So that's why if you were to look at what we have been giving you all this while, it is actually the whole pile of things that must be there for every person. If not, obviously, you're going to have some trouble.
Yeah, and recently I think this video has been going around for a while, because now actually everybody is like, when definitely more elevated emotions during the pandemic. We are, of course, we always tune towards more like, hey, be positive, stay positive at every time, and sometimes it can be a very blocking way of a person growing or graduating in that sense, right? Because
Yeah.
you're expected to just swipe or sweep away or hide your negative emotions if you have it, and that is not very healthy, I feel. And most of it is when parents or as we are growing up, or we are you know, we are always guided to not try not to make mistakes, but at the end of the day, it's through mistakes that we have to learn from. I think it's important also for, you know, if anybody is listening out there, I think it's important sometimes to like, you know, don't touch the boiling kettle, it's hot, you know. Even if you don't touch it one time, you will never learn that it's hot, right? So you know, I think certain emotions or certain experiences, you know, must be learned regardless what is the outcome, so that, you know, we are not trying to be, yeah, we are sort of like having this blueprint of like everybody has to be perfect. So if you're not perfect, you have any this sort of defects, you try to hide it and things like that, so it becomes very toxic. And then that is a lot of suppressed energy, and it becomes very unhealthy, and yeah, then you become unhappy, right?
Yeah. You see what happened right now, most of us is trying to do what we call dressing up the thing when the core is actually really rotten.
Yeah.
You can try to dress it up, but obviously the core is still rotten. So most
Mm,
important, if you can understand the situation whereby it is easy said to talk the theory. It is not easy to do if you don't have it even from the very beginning, the every level that you must have, the every
mm,
knowledge that you must learn.
mm,
As I said, if you don't develop multiple intelligence, obviously it's not easy to ask somebody, come on, accept the fact. You cannot just impose on someone to actually receive what you want to say without understanding where they are,
yep.
what kind of a situation, what kind of a rotten core that they have.
Mm,
Unless you work on the core first, only then you can do the dressing. A lot
mm,
of us are trying to do what we call symptomatic kind of
mm,
dressing, thinking that that could help. But
mm.
actually, we are very wrong. We have to understand who is this person.
I think in layman terms is like giving a Panadol for a headache, but we the core of it is not the Panadol that will fix it, right? So there's so many things that, you know, is causing the
It
headache or
will
the
be temporary relief, maybe
mm,
temporarily,
mm, mm.
but the issue is going to be there again and again.
Yeah. So I think what we actually need is to have people listen to us, or we, as you know, where we can become facilitators, we can listen to people as well. So I think
True,
that's the best we can do before we try to, you know, make judgment.
true, true. As I said, judgment is not ours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Shakir,
think, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Can I
Shakir,
ask something?
sure.
Sure.
Okay, so firstly, I would like to thanks Prof. Mohammed for his presentation. My first question is actually in the studies you have shown, Malaysian studies, the people are getting more anxious and depressed rather than stressed.
Yeah.
So actually the ratio is very far. I think people are getting depressed or anxious rather than getting stressed. How can you explain this?
Oh, no, basically, actually, everyone will feel the stress because stress is actually anything that put a pressure to a person. Example, like if you don't, if you just imagine, if you got a ruler, a wooden ruler, if you don't put your hand at both the ends of the ruler, you don't put any pressure or stress on that ruler. So the ruler will remain the same without any stress. But you know, in
But
life,
actually,
everything is about putting some pressure to it. So
actually we
it has.
see if people are getting stressed, then they are becoming more prone to suffer from anxiety disorder or any other depression. So it's very unusual that people without getting stress is suffering from anxiety or depression.
No, actually, what they are saying there is actually people who get anxiety and depression is all the underlying is how they respond to the stress that they have. Because remember, the happenings around them are all stress to them. There's even the smallest thing, example like uh, you'll be surprised, maybe a routine of have eating. They are not having what their usual thing that they have. That could actually some people respond to that very stressful according because there's a change of their routine. So similarly, as I said, all things that happen any individual that later become anxious and later become depression. If you know this continuum, okay, when a person gets stressed and become distressed, the distress is the one that we are worried because that distress will indicate some negative outcome. If you stress, I'm stressed, but I know that I can handle the stress. Example, I usually give this example. If I got 1,000 ringgit in my pocket, anything to do with financial issue, I can handle it now because I got that 1,000 ringgit. So that means I got an ammunition, I got ability to control anything to do with money if it is less than 1,000. So it doesn't stress me out. But unfortunately, if I don't have that and anything comes to me, it becomes a stress to me because I start to feel it has become a challenge to me. And that's when stress comes about. And the first features of somebody getting distressed because of the stress in psychology, in our psychiatry area, we know that is called the problem of psychosomatic presentation. Example, like if I'm not happy with something, the first presentation I got is headache. The first presentation I got is body ache. The first presentation I got is stomach problem, because that is the first signal saying that we are being distressed. Then after that signal goes on, we go into chronicity. It will become anxiety as the first feature that follow for psychosomatic or somatoform, they call it. After the anxiety become worsen and they cannot get out of it, then it end up become depression. And if depression cannot get out of it, some people end up become psychotic.
So,
And
Prof,
some
actually,
people doesn't even go to psychotic, depression, they kill themselves already. So that is where the flow is. Bodily
Actually-
symptom, anxiety, depression, psychosis.
in my view, actually, in that cases where the depression anxiety is more than the stress factors, I think probably they are suffering from some genetic heritage. I think the inheritage. That means genetic factor is, we know the most of the psychological or psychiatric illnesses are genetic, is one of the most major part. And actually the genetic heritage here, I think we can consider for our further study. Number one.
Always remember, nature actually always have its component, its contribution. So the genetic, they call it the predisposition. Always remember 3 P's when you want to understand someone getting into trouble. The first
Another
P,
one,
yeah,
sorry,
the
another
first P,
factor.
if you can say, the first P is predisposing. Predisposing is genetic predisposition,
Genetics.
most likely. And then the second one is something that ongoing, the perpetuating issues. That means in childhood, there's always a problem. You continue having a problem, it become more and more chronic. The perpetuating factor. And the third P is the one that really push someone to have what we call the meltdown or the breakdown. That is called the precipitating factor. So if you want to understand someone, to formulate what is going on with this particular person, always look for these 3 Ps: predisposition, perpetuation, precipitation. Because precipitation will push the person over the edge. Precipitation will continue having the problem. Predisposition will be the beginning of the opening of the problem. Yeah, sorry. Say something.
No, sorry, I am sorry. I wrongly interpret. So another factor actually is the endogenous causes of the anxiety and depression. That we know the changes of the biochemical factors, the neurotransmitter, the hormones levels, are also essential factors for depression and anxiety.
Yes.
So in that case, we also can consider the find out the causes, actually endogenous causes.
I would say the neurotransmitter is actually the outcome of, to start with, the physiological changes that you experience. Because okay, nobody suddenly have a serotonin different. Nobody suddenly have a dopamine changes. There must be something that trigger the dopamine changes. There must be something that trigger the serotonin decrease.
Factor.
So that means there is a factor that push it that way. So that's why we must always understand this problem. Look for the cause or look for the effect. If we try to treat the effect, we forgot the cause. So a lot of people are going for symptomatic relief, trying to feed, what do you call it? Window dressing the effect, as though like you just paint it nicely. It's not there anymore. You can't see it. But actually, it is only window dressing. It is only what we call accessory treatment. But the core is still there. The underlying is still rotten. The person is still having a big issue. So that's why I always look at the cause and the effect. So if we deal with the effect, yes, you can. But then once the effect is overcome, you look for the cause.
So hence somebody can be very, maybe individual can be seem very happy one day, but because they've been window dressing, so to speak, they can turn, 360 degree, the other minute because there's a trigger, the third P, right?
That is what we call the smiling depression.
Like Robin Williams and a lot of comedians and a lot of entertainers, those are more public.
The public figure, the
figure,
celebrities. Unfortunately for these people, is actually because of this nature. They have been challenged with some kind of a very serious issue. Example, like Robin Williams is because some kind of a serious dementia problem. That he knows that in months to come, he will end up even not knowing people maybe, even into a situation that is so worse that he's going to be burdened on someone. Again, as you say, even the one that the chef that goes around also kill himself. Similarly, they are possibly having issues that was not able to be accepted. The reason why they cannot accept the issue is because their internal is actually not strong enough to face those issues.
Yeah.
That's why they end up doing things that to them. Because unfortunately, for some people, killing themselves is something altruism. Killing themselves is an honor. So for this group of people, you can't say anything much because their way they perceive death is of that nature.
Yeah,
And
death is
some
like a
people
release.
say, some people say that, yeah, it's okay, so that I can go into the next world and my next life will be different then. So these all depend on how you understand those things. So again, it all depends on your perspective,
Yeah.
your belief.
Hence, I think why all this, like what you are talking about, your topic just now, and all these weeks, we spoke about like mental health. We are trying to do our best to engage, to create awareness so that people that's on this call and also the unseen audience, which, because we share it on YouTube, we share it on our WhatsApp group, there will be people that will be looking for answers
Yeah, sure.
or trying to search. So by doing this, we are creating a platform to destigmatize it. We try to talk about it. The more we try to engage and put this message out, I think more people are going to be more mindful about their situation. Sometimes before they seek help, they got to be aware first, right? So through this conversation, I think we will be able to achieve that.
Our idea is actually a compounding kind of an idea. If I can talk to 5 or 6 of you, and each and every one of you can talk to another 5 or 6 of them, then that 5 can talk to another 5, you'll be surprised. It spread like wildfire. People can understand it very easily. Because people don't have a chance yet to listen. But we can be, that's why I said for all of us here, it's all also, we are all agent of change. If you look at that, we are all agent of change. Doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how you feel about yourself, whether you say, oh no, I'm not fully equipped, oh no, I'm not really that good. No, it's not that. It's about if you understand, as we have this so-called phrase, even one simple ayat, say it out to someone who doesn't know. Give someone that knowledge. So that is the idea. So because now at least we have a consistent group of people who can then propagate it for another bigger group, and they can always listen to us again.
I think some of these also are students and in their 20s, so this is really a great lesson or a great point to bring it, because you will go through different challenges in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, and so forth. And dealing with people with different personalities, you may also understand other people a little bit better, and most importantly, you understand yourself. Yeah, Coach
Shakir, sorry, Shakir. Yeah, anything. Yeah, Shakir.
Yeah. So, Prof, another question that you described, that the happiness in our psychological aspects, there are 7 areas that we can describe happiness. 7 areas. Is it actually the mandatory that all times happiness within the 7 areas, or it may goes beyond these areas also?
Well, you can always break it down into many other areas.
Many areas, yes.
Yeah,
in my aspect, actually, many areas.
Most important, I would say, what make you happy is when you become contented with your life.
Contented. Happiness consistent contentment.
Without contention, if you are not happy because you're discontent, you say, oh, come on, that money is still not enough. Oh, come on, what I've got, I've been like this. I've not what I've got. That's why when you become discontent, actually you become ungrateful.
Mm.
Important about life is like this. Even though you have small thing, but you cherish it. Even though you have little thing, you're so grateful about it. You're so thankful about it. That actually is the most important so-called happiness component that you must have. If you still say, no, 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 I don't have it. You keep complaining about it, you're in deep trouble. So obviously, there are many other areas, but I think there's some areas that we need to highlight.
I think what we can do is to end of today's session before you go to sleep. Write down 3 things or think about 3 things that you're grateful for today.
Yeah, sure.
I think you will definitely have a better sleep, and then tomorrow morning you wake up, you think about 3 things that you are grateful for in the morning. Yeah, I think that's a good thing to start with. Yeah.
Repeat this for the next whole week. Then we see. Then we see. Give us some feedback.
Have the container. Put inside the container.
Yeah, like the happy jar.
I think the 2 jar is good.
Yeah.
The 2 jar is very good.
Yeah,
Get your family members, if you have kids, wife, husband, wife, just to put it in and make it a family project. I think, then you create very much a harmony in the house as well.
But this is about individual, so everybody need to have that jar themselves.
Yeah.
So that they then can learn, because you need to improve yourself. Shakir, you got something else, Shakir? Sorry.
Okay. If you continue, you can continue, no problem. But actually, that time already finished. Time limit also already exceeded.
Okay,
Yeah,
still don't. You can WhatsApp me and whatnot. Try to give some understanding better. Yes.
I think we have Coach Francis, anything?
Basically, I think it needs a bit of a combination of intervention. You see, because the thoughts is keep on coming up. So you must know some basic things. So what happened to your thoughts is the thoughts that actually start the whole thing, start the whole ball rolling. You see. So from there, then these thoughts are also due to some deficit in the body, like inactivity, sedentary, lack of exercise, and also imbalanced diet. So it's a multidisciplinary approach to resolve this problem. But the numbers that Prof brought up in the adolescents and kids, that is actually a very serious issue, and the parents must be actually aware of to observe this pattern, so that they don't get into big trouble. Only they know, so the whole family will become more harmony. The kids are going into different stress level, and the parents are not aware of that. That's the worst thing that can happen.
I've got previously one parent who asked me, should I retire now to look after my adolescent kid? I think it's what we call, it's rather too late to make any difference if you retire at the age when the kid is already spoiled in a way. That's why we say, biar nak melentur bulu dari rebungnya, rather than tunggu dia dah jadi keras bulu, tak boleh lagi dilentur. So that means you can still go to work, you can still do whatever you need to do, but always have the work time, always have the family time, always have the self time, always have everything that you need to do as your duty. You cannot just focus on one time. 24 hours working, that will spoil you. You get some money also, it won't be matters anymore.
I think the most importantly, we have to be present. Yeah, just be present. Because I think we were fine. When I was growing up, both parents are working. So, but in my childhood years, I remember the time was still given. The moments in the evening, family time, weekend time, recreational. So those are the things as children, as a child, you do remember those moments. Yeah, of course, both parents are working. Of course, they are working for the family, right? So if parents are listening, don't have that guilt that if both have to work and support the family. It's not necessarily wrong, or you should have like a stay-at-home parent. because at this day and age, times have changed, right? So yeah, I think we make the best out of every situation. Yeah, I like what you said. Having contentment is very important. Having gratitude is very important.
Very important for us to learn about all this. As I said, it's easy for me to talk. It's not easy even for me to do it, because I need the first element of negotiation with people around me. If I have to negotiate with my wife, if I have to negotiate with my kids, maybe my element of negotiation is still very poor. So people don't listen to me very well. I've got to negotiate with my student. I've got to negotiate with my colleague. So that's why I said multiple intelligence is very important. Emotional intelligence, about self-smart and people smart. So it is not an easy answer.
Yeah, no one straight answer, right? Yeah. So it's a lifelong journey.
It's a
So
lifelong learning.
lifelong learning, lifelong journey. You try and error, but most importantly, stay present, stay mindful, and yeah, and if you can, sometimes what we need is to have some compassion, have some common sense, some humor.
I mean, the difference is that for this generation, for this era, you can tap on resources.
Yes.
During our time, there's no resources.
Nothing.
We are in the dark. We are in our own kampong. Maybe we don't know who else we can talk to. But this time around, you can even tap to people in America. You can even tap to people resources in Australia, in UK, in Taiwan, in Japan, just through this communication that we have, tools, technologies. So unfortunately, people did not capitalize on those things. Your smartphone is actually the best of your assets in your hand.
Fingertips, the world is in your fingertips, right?
Because everything now in the smartphone, your camera, your so-called TV, your video, your everything is in the phone.
Use it for the greater good. Yeah, don't distract
You
us.
can actually go everywhere with it, as
Yeah.
long as you got the connection. I think people are not remembering that part. It's just an asset, but unfortunately, we use this as liabilities. Because money goes out, nothing comes in.
Right. So thank you so much, Prof, for your insight. Thank you everybody for joining. Very much again, very grateful for everybody who's listening. Yeah, do send us your thoughts and chat. If you're not comfortable in talking, you can always chat. You can always look out for any one of us on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Instagram, and we will see each other next week, hopefully.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
thank you, everybody. And we will post this video on YouTube so everybody can access to it and share it with their friends and family. So this is from all of us, and wishing you staying home, and keep your physical distancing, right? Yeah. So thank you so
At
much,
home
everybody.
also.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good
Okay.
night.
Okay, have a nice day. Have a nice
Good
day.
night. Okay.
Yeah. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you
Bye.
for listening to us. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye. Okay. Bye.